If the Tennessee Titans hope to win on Sunday, they must stop Jayden Daniels. That and more on today's edition of Locked On Titans.
You are Locked On Titans, your daily Tennessee Titans podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome to the Locked On Titans podcast. I am your host, Tyler Rowland, Titans fans. Today's game plan edition of the Locked On Titans podcast is brought to you by Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use the code LOCKEDONNFL for $20 off your first purchase. On today's show, I'm going to go over my keys to victory for the Tennessee Titans as a team. We're going to look at the players to watch in this matchup as well, and I'll give you my game and score predictions for this Week 13 battle. Before we get into it, I do want to thank you for making the Locked On Titans podcast your first listen each and every day. Remember, Monday through Friday, Tennessee Titans content all year round, always for free. You're not going to beat that anywhere else. Make sure that you get subscribed, stay subscribed. It's your team every day. Speaking of every day, shout out to my everydayers out there tuning in Monday through Friday. If you aren't an everydayer, you need to be one because no one is putting out the top tier consistent content covering the Titans like I am, including going live on Sunday immediately after the game ends to break down all of the action. But with that being said, do want to take a quick moment here and hope that you guys had a happy Thanksgiving from the bottom of my heart. I am grateful for all of you guys who tune in. Couldn't live my dream without you. So grateful for you guys. Thank you very much. And again, hope you had a happy Thanksgiving. But now it's time to get back to football. And when we talk about the keys to victory for the Tennessee Titans in this matchup against the Washington Commanders, it starts with the run game. The Tennessee Titans must stop the run. And you want some stats to back that up. Absolutely jarring to me when I did my research on this game that the Washington Commanders are averaging over 180 rushing yards in their 7 wins this season. In their 5 losses, they are averaging 97 yards per game. Nearly half of their rushing yard totals in their wins they have in their losses. That is outrageous, and it paints a picture of a team that cannot find consistent offense whatsoever without running the football. And my guy, David Harrison from Locked On Commanders on the Crossover Thursday show dropped a ton of great nuggets. So if you missed that episode, make sure that you check that out. But he talked about the time of possession battle, and we're going to talk about that again from the Titans' perspective here in a second. But the inability to run the football creates a time of possession problem for the Washington Commanders. It doesn't allow them to sustain drives. They can't consistently rely on their passing game. So if you stop the run of the Washington Commanders and you hold them to under 100 rushing yards, you are going to get a win. So I feel very confident that the Tennessee Titans will be able to do that. Stop the run. But what I'm not as confident about, this is really where the game will go off the rails, in my opinion. If it does, this is where the Tennessee Titans lose the game. And my key to victory number 2 is you must contain Jayden Daniels. The Tennessee Titans have struggled with mobility at the quarterback position for all eternity, it feels like. I mean, forever. The Titans just simply can't get quarterbacks on the ground when they get pressure and they almost get sacks. Guys with mobility tend to escape the pocket, extend plays, and create explosives on the Titans. I mean, I go back to, week 9 or week 11 against the Minnesota Vikings. Sam Darnold looked like the second coming of Mike Vick out there. It was unbelievable how Sam Darnold was able to use his – look, Sam Darnold's not a statue, but he's certainly not one of the most mobile quarterbacks in the NFL. And the Titans could not get him on the ground. They had 5 to 7 near sacks in that game where Darnold was able to escape. Well, guess what? Jayden Daniels is far more mobile than Sam Darnold. If Jayden Daniels gets out of the pocket and creates and extends plays and uses his legs, the Titans are going to be in trouble. The Titans are absolutely going to be in trouble, and it's going to break whether the Titans stop the run, whether the Titans have a good plan, whether the Titans run good plays. None of that is going to matter if they let Jayden Daniels break this game. All right. So the Titans must keep Jayden Daniels contained in the pocket. Do not give him avenues to run the football. Do not give him openings when you break contain on the outside and break your rush pattern. This is my longtime listeners, my every years here. No, I have I wouldn't call it my famous saying, but I've used it quite a bit here on the podcast, and a lot of people recognize it. It is the mush rush. When you rush an excessively mobile quarterback, you cannot be too aggressive. You have to have a level of conservativeness so that you don't create wide open rushing lanes for a mobile quarterback. You cannot get past the level of the quarterback as an edge rusher, or you are going to allow a lane out the barn door. The Titans have been terrible at this for years and years and years. Arden Key is one of the most undisciplined rushers in the NFL when it comes to things like this. If the Tennessee Titans do not contain Jayden Daniels, they are going to ruin all of their efforts on first and second down. So contain Jayden Daniels. It's maybe key to victory number 2, but it is number 1 on my priority list. Now, on the offensive side of the football for the Titans, time of possession. Again, David Harrison from Locked On Commanders brought this up on Crossover Thursday yesterday, that the Washington Commanders in their 6 games where they've lost the time of possession battle, they're 1-5. And the one game that they won was the Hail Mary against the Bears, which, as David said, they should have lost that game. It was a miracle that they won. So if you win the time of possession battle and you don't allow this Commanders offense to be on the field the majority of the time, you will win the game. And how do you win time of possession, folks? It's a tale as old as time. Run the football. And the Washington Commanders defense is the 4th worst run defense in the NFL, allowing 145 yards per game. So the Tennessee Titans already want to run the football. That's what they want to be the core of their offense. And you have a team that is terrible at stopping the run. So this lines up, I will say this lines up very, very well for the Titans, where the Commanders are bad when they can't run the football, and the Titans have a good run defense. The Titans want to run the football, and the Commanders are terrible at stopping the run. That lines up very well for the Titans because, again, that time of possession difference, the Commanders are 1-5 in their 6 games where they lost the time of possession battle. So it's pretty clear what the Titans need to do. Stop the run the ball, and make sure that Jayden Daniels doesn't break the game. But we're going to zoom in a little bit, talk about the players to watch in this game, because there are some matchups that will really decide the outcome here. It's Locked On Titans, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Do want to let you guys know that today's episode is brought to you by Game Time. Game Time is the best place to buy tickets, period. Why? They have the best features in the industry, and they just got a new feature called Game Time Picks that makes Game Time even better. Game Time Picks makes getting tickets to see your favorite teams play live even easier. Game Time Picks filters out the fluff to show you only incredible deals on great seats. And it's not just Game Time Picks. Game Time has more incredible features as well, like a panoramic view from your seat, so you literally know what you're going to be seeing when you sit down. Also, if you toggle on the feature, you can get all-in prices. So the price that you see for your tickets is actually what you pay for your tickets, which is hard to find in today's marketplace. Make sure that you take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use the code LOCKEDONNFL for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account, redeem the code LOCKEDONNFL for $20 off. Download the Game Time app today. What time is it? It's game time. Titans fans, let's continue today's game plan edition of the Locked On Titans podcast. We talked about my keys to victory for the Titans from a big picture standpoint for the entire team. But now I want to zoom in a little bit, get a little more granular, and talk about some of the individual matchups to watch in this game. Before I get into it, though, do want to thank you once again for making the Locked On Titans podcast your first listen each and every day, Monday through Friday. Tennessee Titans content all year round, always for free. Make sure you get subscribed, stay subscribed. It's your team every day. But looking at the players to watch in this game, we focused heavily on the defensive side of the ball to open things up, and I think that's going to be key. If the Titans could slow down the Commanders' offense and they can limit what they're doing there, the Titans have a great chance to win this game, a fantastic chance to win this game. But on the offensive side of the ball, while I talked about the Titans should be able to run the ball at will here, my player to watch on offense is Calvin Ridley. So I want to take you guys back, and I mentioned this on yesterday's show on the Crossover Thursday. Excuse me. But the Detroit Lions are probably the game to watch if you're trying to prepare for what the Commanders are going to do on defense. Simple as that. So the Washington Commanders play a ton of cover 3. They sprinkle in a little bit of cover 2, but also they run a ton of cover 1. Now, what is cover 1? Cover 1 man. All right. That's when you have a deep safety in the back. You usually have an intermediate defender playing zone like a linebacker, and then you're playing man coverage. So against man coverage, which is what the Titans saw a ton of against the Detroit Lions, do you remember what Calvin Ridley did in that game? Calvin Ridley went nuts in that game because it's just hard to guard Calvin Ridley in man coverage. Now, one of the big reasons I highlight Calvin Ridley, though, is not just because he's probably going to see man coverage. He should have a good game against it. But he's probably going to see Marshawn Lattimore, who's one of the best cornerbacks in the NFL, and absolutely hilarious, classic Tennessee Titan stuff that the Commanders traded for Marshawn Lattimore, and he's missed every game since the trade, but he's probably going to play in this game. Of course, Will Anderson and other players for the Texans out. Well, they come back against the Titans. And, Nico Collins finally at 100% against the Titans. Hilarious, right? Hilarious how that happens. But Marshawn Lattimore is probably going to come back in this game. And Calvin Ridley is going to have a tough assignment, and he's going to have to win. You paid Calvin Ridley $90 million. Why? To win these matchups, to beat Marshawn Lattimore on his hurt hamstring, and to win against man coverage consistently. That is what you pay Calvin Ridley to do. So if the Commanders are going to play a ton of cover 1, which their cover 1 percentage right now is 26%, one of the highest in the NFL. Cover 3 on 27%. Like, they're running cover 3 and they're running cover 1. So you have to be ready to beat man coverage. You have to be ready to win one-on-one matchups with the cornerbacks. That is what Calvin Ridley is going to have to do. He is my number 1 player to watch in this game, because if the Titans run the football and then get in third and short situations against man coverage, Calvin Ridley should be able to cook in this one. So that's what I'm looking for there. We do move back to the defensive side of the ball because, again, I think the Titans offense will be able to have success in this game. Like, I'm not as concerned about the offense, but the defensive side of the ball. Jarvis Brownlee Jr. is my number 1 player to watch on the defensive side of the ball. There's this guy on the Washington Commanders. I don't know if you've heard of him, but his name is Terry McLaurin. Scary Terry. All right. And to me, not to be disrespectful to their other options, who I think are fine, but Terry McLaurin is the only game breaker on this team. Think Zach Ertz, Noah Brown, Olamide Zaccheaus, Luke McCaffrey, Daimi Brown, Jeremy McNichols, the McWeapon. I know Titans fans will recognize that name. Ben Sinnott, who David kept mentioning. Sorry, David. I'm not that worried about Ben Sinnott. Maybe it comes back to bite us, but Terry McLaurin is who you have to stop. You cannot let Terry McLaurin beat you. And the Titans have been heavy cover 4. The Titans are the most heavy cover 4 team in the NFL. Tons of cover 4. Okay. Right now it's, what's the percentage for the Titans cover 4? 26%. Yeah, 31% cover 3, 26% cover 4. That is what the Titans run. They only run cover 1 16% of the time. I think the Titans should run more man coverage than normal in this game. They're never going to fully go away from who they are as a zone team. And they've gone away from man coverage recently, which makes sense with the injuries in the secondary. But Jarvis Brownlee Jr., when the Titans play their cover 4, they play cover 4 man, which means you're going to have man coverage on the outside receivers. And then the safeties in the middle are going to play cover 4 principals, quarters. All right. So with that, again, Jarvis Brownlee Jr. is going to have one-on-one matchups with Terry McLaurin all day long, and he has to win them. And Jarvis Brownlee Jr. has been one of the best players on the team. Right now, Jarvis Brownlee Jr. is second in the NFL, second best in the NFL at the cornerback position in preventing separation. Did you hear that? Second best at preventing separation in the entire NFL. It's crazy. What a steal by Ran Carthon at the cornerback position. And how important is Jarvis Brownlee Jr. with the injuries the Titans have had at corner? Do want to mention Cheeto Awuzie back in practice, but I wouldn't expect him to come off IR and play in this game. He's not ready yet. They got to get him back in shape. So it's on you, JBJ. And I would send him wherever Terry McLaurin goes. Now, one of the big problems with the Commanders' offense is they don't move Terry McLaurin around a ton. So hopefully he just stays put on his left side, I think is where he lines up most of the time. But Jarvis Brownlee Jr. against Terry McLaurin is absolutely a top-tier matchup that the Titans have to win. And then finally, Kenneth Murray. I will say I find it hilarious that Kenneth Murray has one good game. And now I get a bunch of people tagging me, oh, I thought he sucked. Well, yeah, he had one good game. Does that mean that the last 11 weeks didn't happen? I don't know. I'll let you decide on that. But regardless, Kenneth Murray has to do it again. He needs to chase down Jayden Daniels. Kenneth Murray is one of the more athletic starting linebackers in the NFL. He has the speed. He has the physicality. He is the one who I expect to put hits on Jayden Daniels. Jayden Daniels is dealing with a little bit of a rib injury. Now, he's probably closer to fully healthy right now than he was a couple of weeks ago for certain. But if you watch Jayden Daniels' college tape, he is reckless with the way he runs. And I think the Titans are going to stop the run. I think they're going to put Jayden Daniels in a ton of third and long situations, and he is going to be compelled to use his legs. And when he gets out of the pocket and when he runs, Kenneth Murray better be there to stop him. So we talk about the keys to victory in the game containing Jayden Daniels. The primary culprit in getting that job done is Kenneth Murray. So Calvin Ridley, one-on-one in man coverage. Jarvis Brownlee against Terry McLaurin, and Kenneth Murray watching Jayden Daniels. Those are my players to watch in this game. Now, what do I think happens in this game? A little bit of gambling, a little bit of fantasy advice. All of that coming right now as we close out today's game plan edition of Locked On Titans. And when I give you that gambling advice, you need to take it and head over to FanDuel because you can get a really good deal for the second half of the NFL season on FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook, because right now, new customers can bet $5 and get $150 in bonus bets if you win. The FanDuel Sportsbook app gives you everything you need to place live bets on the NFL all in one place. So when you get a hunch in the middle of a game, you can open up the FanDuel Sportsbook app. You can check out the latest stats. You can view live play-by-play and so much more on the same exact page where you place your bets. Make sure that you visit FanDuel.com to join today. Again, you'll get started with $150 in bonus bets if you win your first $5 bet. That's FanDuel.com. Never waste a hunch. Make every moment more with FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL. Titans fans, let's cap off today's game plan edition of the Locked On Titans podcast We talked about my keys to victory. We talked about my players to watch in the game. Now I want to get into some of my predictions for this game before I do. Thanks again for making Locked On Titans your first listen. For your second listen, check out Locked On NFL. I'm the lead host over for the Locked On NFL podcast, do the morning show every single Monday through Friday, breaking down all of the biggest NFL news and topics, recapping all the games, everything like that. You get your Titans news here with me in under 30 minutes every day. Get your NFL news with me in under 30 minutes every single day. I got a rotating list of co-hosts who come on with me who are excellent people from around the Locked On Podcast Network. So make sure that you guys check out the Locked On NFL podcast on whatever platform that you are checking out Locked On Titans. But with that being said, if you listen to my Wednesday episode, my everydayers will remember, I did a little bit of a prediction of how many games I think the Titans win the rest of the season. And I went 3-3 for the Titans. And one of the losses that I think they will have is this week. I think the Titans lose this game 27-23. And here's my reasoning. It goes back to Jayden Daniels. The Titans have just not I think the Titans can run the football and score points. I think the Titans will stop the run of the Washington Commanders. I think all that stuff happens. I do. But I don't think the Titans contain Jayden Daniels. They have not shown all year long that they are able to deal with a mobile quarterback. They're simply not able to do it. T'Vondre Sweat missed a ton of sacks when he was at Texas. He would get pressure and miss a sack. Arden Key always allows quarterbacks to break contain. I just have not seen the Tennessee Titans stop a mobile quarterback to the point where I think that they're going to be able to hold on to Jayden Daniels. They made Sam Darnold look like Michael Vick. I remember, who was it earlier in the season? Josh Allen ran around quite a bit. Caleb Williams, although he was inaccurate on his passes, was able to get out of the pocket and run around quite a bit. Obviously, Malik Willis was able to get out of the pocket and run around. Like, the Titans just cannot handle mobility at the quarterback position. It is their Achilles heel as a defense. They have the number one pass defense. They're great in run defense, but they cannot stop a mobile quarterback to save their lives. And when you do that, and you let that quarterback run around, now you're asking a lot of a secondary that has Daryl Worley and Mike Brown and Darrell Baker Jr. And even Jarvis Brownlee Jr. is a physical player, but the longer the play goes, the more he is required to use athletic skill, and he's not the quickest and fastest cornerback ever. He's physical and aggressive, and that works in short, quick bursts. If you ask Jarvis Brownlee Jr., like, think about the Nico Collins pass on the sideline. He was with Nico the whole time, but C.J. Stroud got out of the pocket and threw a dime on the sideline. So you're going to put the secondary in a terrible position if you don't contain Jayden Daniels, and I just don't think the Titans can. And the Titans are good for one turnover a game, and that's going to be the difference. The Titans are going to ruin their good first and second down defense on third down, letting Jayden Daniels out of the pocket. And then they're going to have a turnover that gives the Commanders an easy scoring opportunity, and that's the difference in the game. So they have the ability to win this game. It's not a long shot at all by any stretch. They could certainly win. But I've just seen this story too many times. Emotional win against the Texans. You got to go on the road again after going on the road last week. This is just setting up for a bit of a letdown for Tennessee Titans fans. So 27-23, I think the Commanders win this one. They get off their 3-game losing streak, and the Titans hype machine kind of chills out a little bit. It's not what I want, but it's what I'm expecting. Now, from a gambling perspective, we'll go to keeping it plus 100. The Titans are plus 6.5 underdogs here. I love that. I love that. The Titans are going to lose this game by 4 or 3 points, in my opinion. Getting 6.5, I love that for the Titans. I love it. So I am hammering the Titans plus 6.5 this week. I think that's a great, great bet. Do I think they win? I think they can. So you can hit the money line if you want. But I love the 6.5 here. That's where I would be lying. Whether I'm a Titans fan or not, I love the 6.5. Love that for the Titans. The 44.5 is the over-under in this one. I hate playing over-unders because I just don't know. I mean, I have 27-23, which would be 50 points, which would go over, but With the turnover potential of the Tennessee Titans, you just never know how many points they're actually going to score. The Titans should be able to stop the run of the Commanders, which could keep their offense at bay just a little bit. So this could end up being, 2017 or 17-13 or something. I don't feel comfortable enough to do over-unders, quite frankly. I seem like I never get those right. So Titans plus 6.5, not doing the over-under. That's what I would be looking for this weekend. I feel like that's a pretty safe bet. But want to finish up here with my beautiful dark twisted fantasy player of the week, and it's Calvin Ridley. And I explained this earlier. Against the Detroit Lions, the Titans saw a ton of man coverage. Okay, a ton of man coverage, a ton of cover one. And the Commanders are one of the heaviest cover one teams in the NFL. And what did Calvin Ridley do against the Detroit Lions? 10 catches, 143 yards. I think if you're going to play man coverage consistently, the Titans are going to use bunch formations. The Titans are going to use rub routes. The Titans are going to use quick drag routes. The Titans are going to use slot fades with Calvin Ridley, and they're going to get Calvin Ridley open. He's going to get the ball in his hands, and he's going to make you pay. So I think Calvin Ridley is about to have another fantastic game this weekend, and he's my fantasy player to watch in this matchup. But with that being said, that is going to do it for me today, folks. Very excited for this football game on Sunday, no matter what. Let me know your predictions for this game down below, your keys to victory, your players to watch, your score guesses. Can't wait to see what you guys have to say. Hit me up on Twitter at TicTacTitans as well, and let me know about those. Can't wait to see them. But that is going to do it for me today, folks. Thumbs up on the video. Tighten up down in the chat. As always, I am your host, Tyler Rowland, and this was Locked On Titans.